Yeah.
I have a question on the Jesus prayer. I find it exhausting at times, like physically
It can be.
exhausting. Okay. So that's not unique.
No, it can be. There's an aspect. Well, people think that because you're sitting still and just moving the prayer rope that it should be restful, and it's not necessarily. It can be. It is slightly restful if you fall asleep, which is always a temptation. But if you really maintain your attention and you go deeper into prayer, what the Jesus prayer partly produces is a very intense, focused attention. And if you're maintaining that very intense, focused attention for several hours, that's tiring. That's exhausting.
I'm talking like 10 minutes.
Uh-huh.
Talking about the prayer or the mind descending into the heart.
Mm-hmm.
That's not something that you do of your own accord. That's a gift, right?
Well, it's a gift. What it is, it's the nous. It's the the fathers talk about it in a number of different ways. They talk about the descent of the mind into the heart. But you see, this is all that language doesn't necessarily jive with the Greek language, because I think that's more of a Russian way of expressing it rather than the original way of expressing it. And so the prayer of the mind and the heart is, in other words, would be the rational mind, the logistikon in the nous, or in the heart, which is the seat of the nous. And so you would have the rational and the noetic together, prayer of the mind in the heart. But eventually, you get to the prayer of the heart, and where you silence the mind, and it becomes purely noetic, purely spiritual, and that's the prayer of the heart, by definition.
And it's a gift from God.
And it's a gift, yeah.
Why would you want to silence the mind?
Because
instead of working together with it?
Well, initially you want it to work together, but then there comes a time when you want to go deeper into prayer, and that deeper level of prayer is noetic. It's not rational. It transcends the rational. It's higher level.
I don't understand how anything can take place in a human being without words.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I just don't see how a prayer could happen without words.
Mm-hmm. Well, it does, and that's the ancient tradition, that you have to transcend the words, go beyond the words. You go beyond the words to get to the word.
Is going beyond the words and just something like just more love?
Yeah, it's pure love.
Is it a higher level because God transcends rationality, so therefore by praying at that level you're making yourself more like God?
Well, God not only transcends rationality, but the noetic part of the soul transcends rationality. The man is a composite being with a rational part and rational aspect and a noetic aspect. The noetic aspect is of the same nature as the angels. The rational aspect is the animal soul. And so, as gifted as it is, and it also is manifests the image of God, because God is rational, is Logos, right? Logos is a person, one of the persons of the Godhead, who is a subject of the divine energy. In other words, the divine energy flows through him, but through the Spirit, with the Holy Spirit, who is also a person and not an energy, but is the one who manifests the energy. And so the Holy Spirit, Christ sends the Holy Spirit upon us to unite us to himself, to unite us in himself. In other words, to recapitulate us in himself and all of creation in himself, and unite us to the Father. And that sanctifies all of creation. And that sanctifies us. And so our prayer, on the higher levels of prayer, is that experience of the transcendence of our rational awareness to be completely in our noetic awareness in God. I mean, it's hard. How do you find words for that? But it's definitely a transcendence of the rational. When you're in the process of saying the prayer and you get thoughts, logismi,
Yeah.
you cut them off completely.
Like all thoughts, all feelings
thoughts.
that come in.
All
like
thoughts, all
anything,
feelings.
Just completely
Thoughts,
ignore.
feelings, emotions, they're all in that same
Memories.
category of logismi. Memories, images, ideas.
Anything period that's not the prayer.
Right.
Okay.
It's easier said than done.
Yeah.
It's easy
Well,
to
yeah.
do.
Yeah. Okay.